Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is Geek Colorado. We are nearing the end of con season, but right now we are with Linda from Mile High Con. How are you doing today, Linda?
Very good.
So, are you
Really busy.
excited about the con this weekend?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, how
It's
long have you been with the con?
um I think about 35 years.
Okay. And what is your current position now, and where did you start off with this con?
My current position is chairperson, actually co-chair. A couple of years ago I brought in a co-chairs to so there's two of us, but I started out chairperson.
Oh,
I,
that's a good
yeah,
to just start it, to just throw yourself full in. That's pretty cool.
yeah.
And how did you start working with the con? Were you one of the original founders or?
Oh, no, no, no. This is the 56th year.
Oh, whoa.
It's been around for a long time. No, it was started by the Denver Area Science Fiction Association. Some people are associated with that. And actually, the person who's been the longest is Rose Beedham. She's the assistant programming director right now, and she had her mother had started it,
Oh, okay.
and and I had organized another organization, and then it disbanded, and then I was asked to come on board and work, be the chairperson for my HiCon, and I agreed. And so, it's been that way ever since. It's going to be my last year of being the chairperson. So I'm retiring, but not totally retired. I'm still going to work on the convention. I just won't be a chairperson.
Okay.
So
So I know con prep is a lot of work, especially for people in your position. And what time would you normally start prepping for the next con as soon as the con ends?
um, we already have some stuff set up for next year.
Whoa.
You have to work well ahead of time. We've our hotel. We're moving to a different hotel the next year, actually for the next 3 years after this, will be at the Hyatt Aurora. And so that'll be a little bit smaller than we have right now. But ever since COVID, our numbers have gone down and they just haven't gone up. So we feel like it's better to be just with a slightly smaller venue. And then after that, we can look at going to a larger venue. As you know, the larger the venue, the more it costs you. So
Yes.
if we
Yes.
want to keep going, further than we are, we have to think ahead of time, always be thinking a couple of years ahead, actually. And we've got 2/3 of our guests of honor already set up um, for next year. We still have a couple more to track down, but we're always working ahead of time. We're always working ahead of time. Most of the crew will probably take a break and not do hardly anything for the next 1 or 2 months, and then right at the beginning of the year, we'll start off with a kind of a early progress report as to what's going on, who we have lined up, where we'll be, and everything to get people start to get them excited and going and stuff. But yeah, it moves pretty well. Pretty we don't have lots of in between. It depends on the person, on the position on the con committee as to how much time you have. When you're a chairperson, you have to be thinking about it all the time. And it's you always have to think about, do I have my people? How's the hotel set up? Do we have enough guests? Is there anything that's keeping us from getting people? You're always thinking about that. What can you do to keep that from happening, to make it work better, smoother, faster, the whole thing. So, you know,
Yeah. So I
as
was
a
a
chair, you're
local kid growing up here. So like it was always you guys and then Starfest were the two cons we
right,
had. And now
right.
do you think the expansion of so many cons, because I know I've covered several already this year, is also influencing con turnout for every con? Because there's just so
Yes,
many options.
right. And that's exactly it too. That's the other thing that's probably diminished us. Sam, we were the first one here in the Denver area. We were the first one, and we're the only one that's lasted as long as any of the others.
Yep.
Even Starfest now is gone.
Yep.
And So no, we survived COVID. We were the only convention in town to go viral. We went viral and had an online convention, which a lot of cons did that, and we did it. That was a real adventure. Yeah, it was a real adventure doing that, but it happened and it worked. And we have some people wanting us to have a co-viral live convention. We just haven't gotten the manpower to do that. We just don't have the manpower. It's like one or the other. We don't have two going at the same time. That would be really tough.
Yeah, and getting the techies to be able to set that up. I've been to a few cons where they've tried that. It hasn't always been successful, but definitely more cons are trying that now. So,
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah.
and then you were talking about how you've been with this con for so long, you had an organization before then. So I'm assuming you're a lifelong geek. How was you, or how
Yeah.
did you first get into geek life? What was your earliest memory of how you knew you were like, this is for me?
Oh God, that's I love science fiction from, a little bitty kid. That was always my favorite thing to read it, to watch it. I remember when I lived in Decatur, Illinois, and Star Trek had just come out. It was on the local channel at a really weird time, like 10 o'clock at night,
Hmm.
for some reason. I don't know why. And I used to literally sneak up out of bed because we were supposed to all be in bed by then. And I would sneak up and watch Star Trek and turn the sound down super low and be sitting right in front of the TV to watch Star Trek because just always loved it. I loved reading it, loved watching it. I always loved it.
And did your
And so,
parents
yeah,
support your fandom except for the late nights?
but yeah, I got in trouble sometimes for the late nights. Yeah. They didn't really care so much. It kind of depended. If dad was home, oh no, we had to watch Westerns. But if he wasn't home, mom didn't care. And so I got to watch, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea and, all that kind of stuff back then that was going on. And back in the 60s and 70s and stuff. So, yeah, uh, I can't really say they supported me. They just knew that I was into the weird stuff. That's all.
So
And then
Mile,
I had other friends in high school who were into it too. So,
okay,
yeah,
so you had support there. And Mile
yeah,
High Con has a very literature focus. What is your favorite
right.
piece of literature? If you had
Oh,
to pick, well, I know it's horrible to asking that question.
that's way too hard.
Or what would you
That's way
recommend
too hard.
people trying to get into reading? Like any specific things you would focus on sending them to, like you need to check out these books or authors?
God, there's so many that are so good. That's really difficult. I just cannot answer that. That is just too difficult. And it changes over time. Your
True.
taste changes, you go through, and as you age and stuff, and you like different things and stuff. And so it just depends. I mean, I like all different kinds of stuff. So it's just depends at the moment. I'm
Okay.
very Gemini.
Have you had a chance to take a look at the missing Stoker story that's been found?
No, I have not.
I would definitely recommend checking that out. I know that's one of the things
Okay.
in literature news right now that's really big is finding
Okay.
that some guy actually just in the archives found a piece of literature that had been missing forever. So we never know what we'll also find from authors going back
Oh,
and
I
reading some of the
know.
greats. Yeah.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Yeah.
And then is there anything about the con this year that you are excited about? Like any special paneling or anything like that that you definitely like to gear people to kind of head that way?
Um, you know what? I have not been involved in programming this year, hardly at all. I had an accident in the end of August,
Oh
and
man.
I was totally out of it for like 3 weeks. And luckily, the rest of the crew came forward and just kind of took off and took
Hmm.
over. And that what kind of spurred me on to go ahead and uh, do an actual retirement was
Hmm.
that. And so it's just a lot of stuff has happened over the last month, 2 months in my life. And so, Meg Ward is the programming director, and I trust her completely and totally. And so she's been the one completely involved in working on that. And you were going to interview her
Yep,
too.
tomorrow. Yep, and we'll be getting that video up too. So,
Okay, and she can definitely tell you all the great stuff with the programming. I just haven't had a chance to really be involved with that aspect at all this year, just
That's
because, like
okay.
I said, so much stuff happened to me.
And
So,
just one more question. I'm definitely a fan of panels when I go to any con. Is there a specific part of the con that you just love?
you cut out there for a while.
Oh, sorry. I said I love going to panels. That's just one of my favorite things to do at cons. Do you have any favorite things to do at cons when you're not working?
It depends on the panels. I'll go hit panels, it just depends on which ones spur my interest at the moment. And I'll go check them out. Um, Again, like I said, I can't say I've got one particular thing that I only get hooked up on. I guess right now the only thing I could probably say I could get hooked up on, but which most people would think I'm really weird, is I was a big Greatest American Hero fan
Mm-hmm.
from the old 1980s TV series, and I've been writing fan fiction for that. So I have fun
Okay.
doing that. That is a fun thing to do.
Is any of your fan fiction published? Can we look at it anywhere?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's on fanfiction.net.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, and I write under MHC Queen.
Perfect. All right. Hey, people, if you're watching
Icon
this,
Queen, yeah.
check her out. Find that
Yeah,
fan
yeah,
fiction.
yeah. It's but I've written a whole series. I've got like what have I got like 20, 23, 24 short stories on fanfiction.net under MHC Queen. Yeah.
That's
And
a
then
lot.
I've taken those and I've rewritten them and I've got them on Kindle Vella. And because you can't go, because on fan fiction, you can't sell them, you can't make money off
Mhm.
it. So I can actually
Yeah.
use the actual character names. But on Kindle Vella, I went and rewrote them, changed the names, changed some of the background, changed some of the information and stuff. And so there, I'm doing it as I don't know if you know anything about Kindle Vella, but it's episodic. So you do by
Okay.
episodes, and you put out an episode each time. And so it actually lends itself really well to episodes. And so I have that, and that's called the Hero Federation on there. And I write that under LL Black with an E on the end. And then since then I started writing novels myself too, just over
Really?
the last year. I mean, all this time I've never done it, and I just started doing it. And I got my first novel out. It's a paranormal novel called Search for the Signet under LL Black with an E on the end of Black.
Yep.
So I've got that out now. So anyway, so I'm starting to write. Here I am, 70 years old, and I just started to write.
Hey,
I
when
only
the
started
passion
writing.
hits, it hits.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, yeah, that's it. And so yeah, so I love it. I'm working on my second novel right now.
Perfect. And then are you on any social media where people, if they want to support your writing, that they could go to follow you?
I've got a Facebook page, LL Black, on Facebook, but I haven't set up my website yet. And that's my next thing is to set up a website. But when you got one book, it's kind of like, what are you going to put? I mean, I can put my Kindle Vella stuff up there too, but yeah, it's I just haven't gotten around to getting that going yet. But I do have a Facebook page, so yeah,
Cool.
it's but that's fun too. I mean, so for everybody that's read the book has enjoyed it, so that makes me feel good, especially since it was my first one. I mean, you always sit and your stomach churns going, oh my God, they're going to think it's terrible. But no, so far nobody said it was terrible. So it's like, okay, yeah,
Did you
I guess I could
self-publish
do
or go
this.
through a publishing company?
I just self-published. I just
Okay.
self-published. Decided to go that route. I heard it takes years sometimes to get accepted into
Hmm.
publishing. And so it's like, nah, I wanted to get out there. So I was willing to put the money up myself and do it myself.
Okay.
So but that's kind of, it's like once I decided to do it, I decided to do it. Same thing with the convention. What did I
Hmm.
do? I didn't start the bottom. I just jumped in head first. Same thing with the writing. Jumped in head first.
And sometimes you got to do that to be successful. Just take that
Uh,
dive. Don't be afraid. You just got to do it.
yeah, yeah. That's me. That's me.
Well,
So,
thank you
but yeah.
so much for meeting with me today.
Okay. So is this going out on you? You have a
Yes,
blog or
I,
something?
I'll actually send you the
A
links. This is
blog.
going to be up on YouTube and possibly TikTok if TikTok will let me put it up there. There's always that. But yeah, and then everyone feel free to check out Mile High Con.
Okay. Great. Okay. Great.
All right, there goes.